Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to DJ Real Talk in the Raw. It is Friday. Yes, it is Friday. For a lot of you, it's the end of your work week. And for those of us that are retired, well, it's a different story. But good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this podcast, DJ Real Talk in the Raw. We have an interesting topic on this morning. It is going to deal with this orange guy who is in the people's house, recklessly spending taxpayers' money, our money. Remember, it's the working class that actually pays taxes. Millionaires, trillionaires, and billionaires, they don't pay taxes. No, they they are able to keep their money, but it's on the shoulders of those of us, the working class, that actually run and fund this country that we live in. But trillionaires, billionaires, and millionaires want to make all of the decisions that concerns this country we call America. Ain't that a trip? Don't die, but want to make all of the decisions. Those of us shouldering the burden of this country, they don't want to give you a voice at all. That's why in November, you better get to the polls, I'm telling you, so that we can take our power back, which is our voice. So we're going to talk about this wasteful spending. It's amazing. Who was that? The Muskie man that was given a position so that he could eliminate wasteful spending and to help the deficit here in these United States of America, that they said that the Democrats were just recklessly spending money and that the debt ceiling was just out of the roof. All of that, remember? And so many people were let go, federal employees, jobs lost, so many programs that were assistance to the American people, the working class people, the less fortunate. Those programs were either terminated or the funds were cut. We're going to talk about all of that. Yeah, but somewhere along the line, they keep finding money so that he can pay for the things that he wants, his toys, things of that nature, off of the backs of the taxpayers, wants to leave his name, I'm assuming a legacy. The legacy is that you are a 34 count convicted felon. Let's remember that. That's your legacy. Sued, yes, sued by a young lady that, in other words, you were trying to make advances on. Yeah, that's your real legacy. Okay? Talk about the orange man. But anyway, welcome. So we're going to have a fantastic, interesting show. Yes. Listen, I need you all to do me a favor. I need you to go to my YouTube page, DJ Real Talking Raw. You can either type in H. Dean Johnson or DJ Real Talking Raw. It's going to come up. And I need you to like and subscribe that page if you wouldn't mind. Please, ma'am or sir, I would really appreciate that. I need to build the audience there on my YouTube page. You guys are doing fantastic here on Facebook Live. I appreciate you guys joining me, coming in just to listen to me babble. Well, it's about the truth, though. It is the truth. So help me God. And so, if you would do that, I would greatly appreciate that, okay? Go and like and subscribe my YouTube page, DJ Real Talk in the Raw. It does not cost you one penny to click that button, but you will make me mighty happy So let's talk about all this little breaking news here that I told you our topic is going to deal with. Some good breaking news. You got this orange man, this convicted felon in the people's house. Every time I think about that, it's amazing. A criminal, a convicted felon in the people's house, the White House, one of the most powerful positions across this world. And we, those of you, voted for a convicted felon. It's like you didn't know his crimes. You knew them. And you voted for him anyway. Amazing. Amazing. But other folk that have maybe done something not as bad, y'all want to persecute them. But you voted this man into the people's house. And so now our country is feeling what it feels today. A lot of folk feeling pain. Yes, pain. Because we don't often make wise decisions, do we? I was always told growing up that there are consequences for everything that we do. Even say, yes, consequences. And oftentimes we have to live with those. How does it feel when you voted for a 34-count convicted felon who's only been there trying to reward criminals, pardoning criminals, wanting to pay restitution to criminals, the insurrectionists? So his friends and his family outside of trillionaires, billionaires, and millionaires are criminals. And those are the ones that he caters to. Yeah, criminals. But y'all did it. You voted for him. But you got an opportunity to make it right in November. Yes, you do. So when you get up out of that bed and you go to your polling place, you're going to vote blue so that the people can take back the power. Correct? My goodness. But anyway, this is what we're going to talk about. This man, Congress, really, they are supposed to control the purse. We know what the purse is, the money. And the allocations or anything, all should go through Congress, voted on, It's the Democratic way. That's how democracy works. But for whatever reason, this Republican Congress have relinquished all of their power that they were voted into office to protect the American people and this country. And they have given all of their power to their fearless leader, their God. And so, instead of him going to them in regards to monies to be spent, allocated, all of that, he just spends it. And they say nothing. Your money, our money, my money. And they say not a word. But when it comes down to helping the American people, the Republicans have so much to say in what you don't need because the country can't afford to carry you. So let's talk about this. Let's go into this. The gross national debt of the United States has officially surpassed $40 trillion for the first time in history. I didn't say the second time. I didn't say the third time. Fourth time. fifth time. I said, for the first time in American history, the national debt in our country has surpassed $40 trillion under this orange man who made a position for the musky man to streamline government and to save our country a whole lot of money. But what I'm reading here is that our country is over $40 billion in the gross national debt. Never done before. How much money is he saving us? Do we see any of that money? That 40 billion? You're right. So, according to data released by the U.S. Treasury Department, this is the information I'm sharing with you. So it came from, a reliable source. Yeah, the Treasury Department, the United States Treasury Department. And it says this milestone amount it said it amounts to approximately $116,800 of debt for every individual living in this country. We don't even make that kind of money, but this is the debt per person. Per person. People don't. $116,800 of debt for every individual living in this country. That's your debt. Some of y'all don't even make 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. But this is your debt. Guess who gave it to you? I'll tell you this. He's orange. And he gave you that debt. That nowhere in it does any of that money go to you. Because remember, they cut all of the funding. They even eliminated funding that should be there to help the American people, the less fortunate, the working class. You didn't need it. So where's all that money going? If you're not seeing it, where is it going? Let's see here. All of that money, but they don't want Medicaid and Medicare funded. First of all, I get them so confused, but one of them we pay for, I think it is the Medicare. It ain't free. You pay a premium. How do I know? I pay one, about $200 and some. So it's not free. However, listen to this real good. If this were to happen, funding Medicaid and Medicare in the United States currently costs approximately $2.1 trillion per year when combining both federal and state expenditures. Taken together, these two programs account for roughly 39% of all health care cost spending across the nation. That's if they were really like giving it to you. They're trying to cut people off. Folk get letters in the mail letting them know you don't qualify anymore. But we are 40 trillion over in debt in this country. And none of that money seems to be going here to help people that need it. But those that we elected in Congress, they get free insurance, their families, for the rest of their life. Guess who pay for it? Because ain't nothing free. You and I offer the taxpayers back, the working class, but yet they don't want to do anything for you. But we are constantly providing them health care. I'm just saying, y'all voted for him. Amazing, isn't it? Let's see. Food assistance. You know, they call it SNAP, all of that, and they cut it for folk, you know, that need food to eat, their children, you know, all these different programs that deal with food. Everybody needs food, nourishment. It gives strength to the body, the mind, all of that, doesn't it? We can't live without food, water, all those kinds of things, can we? But yet they feel that you can. So they cut the food assistance that goes to those that are less fortunate with their children. They don't care about you eating. They are eating. They don't care about if you can eat or not. But y'all voted for him. Yeah, you sure did. 34 count convicted felon criminal in the People's House, built by slaves. Okay, let's see here. It currently costs the United States government roughly $142.2 billion annually to provide overall food and nutrition assistance to Americans. Yeah. The remaining budget, roughly $40 billion, funds programs like WIC, which is Women, Infant, and Children, the National School Lunch Program, temporary meals in the summer. Now, this is what they're saying. Ain't true. Because that ain't happening. It's not happening. Good morning, Gail. My sister. Good morning. That's my little sister, Gail Reed Thomas. They said, now listen. Why is it? Why, Gail, is it that this country doesn't want to feed anybody? But you want to erect golden statues that cost millions of dollars of yourself. Taxpayers' money. You didn't pay for it. Taxpayers, Gail. Taxpayers. You tore down an iconic building, the White House, a wing, so that you could build a piece of monstrosity that you call an elegant ballroom full of gold. How dare you? Didn't even have the authority to do so. But you do what you want to do. Why? Because our Supreme Court justices gave you ultimate power, didn't they? You don't even listen to them. And that's something good. Amazing. Made the monster. Now the monster oftentimes turns on them. I'm talking about those Supreme Court justices. Yeah. Dummies. But we're in this country, Gail, the highest national debt ever in life, in history, over $40 trillion. This country is in right now. Our national debt, never ever heard of before, from this guy, orange man in the White House, that claimed when he was running, he was going to cut the deficit. Well, evidently, he's going in the opposite direction, isn't he? And in doing so, all of this money, Gail, where do the people get any? So where is all this money going? because the people aren't seeing the money. Don't want you to eat. Don't want you to have health care. Amazing. A government looking out for its people. Yes, the Republicans. Go Republicans. Rah. Yeah. Let's see here. Housing. It is so expensive. I was talking to one of my sisters on yesterday, Renee. She owns some flats and things of that nature. And out of the kindness of her heart, she makes rent there in Chicago quite reasonable for her tenants. When she told me what she was charging them, now she's actually going to sell all of the property because she's tired of being a landlord. But she was a good landlord because the money she was charging her tenants was nothing. So now, of course, they have to move because she's selling the property. So now, Gail, they realize they had a good deal because they're looking for places to stay. And guess what? The places are smaller, but guess what? The rent is higher. Rent in Chicago? I could not believe what she was telling me. It's a mortgage. $1,500, $1,700 to rent an apartment. And it's not that big. This is what people are going through. So housing is not readily available. You know, it economically, folk can't afford to pay rent. That's a mortgage. But here we go, right here. The estimate cost for the United States to provide subsidies or subsidized housing for the less fortunate ranges from $9.6 billion to roughly $60 billion annually, depending on how the less fortunate is defined. Currently, federal housing programs are not an entitlement, meaning there's only 1 in 4 households, 1 in 4 households who qualify actually to receive assistance due to limited funding. Why? Because, Gail, the orange man cut the budget that helped people subsidize their housing. So they can't afford the rent. Can't afford it. 1 out of 4 households? Amazing. 1 out of 4. I was like, that make it make sense. 1 out of 4 households qualify for subsidized housing. That's a report. It's true. It's real. Amazing. Yet, am I my brother's keeper? When I was hungry, when I was outdoors, when I was naked. That's the word of God. So, why now, under this administration, we're not taking care of the American citizens, the residents that live here, but our debt is over $40 trillion, the highest debt in history. Never, ever has reached that. Where's our money? It's our money. Remember, the rich don't pay taxes. It's the working class people, but you can't benefit Yeah, we're talking today about wasteful spending because none of this money is helping American people. So where's it going? Well, we know we're fighting a senseless war. We know that we send billions of dollars to Israel and other countries that are his buddies, while we in this country go a waste. I remember the saying, the cliche, that charity begins at home, then it spreads abroad. But this administration has it twisted. Don't care about you. I told y'all that the man did not care about you when y'all went to the polls and you voted him in, a 34 count convicted criminal. Let's see here. We got more. It says the total value of federal tax subsidies, breaks, and cuts that primarily benefit wealthy individuals and corporations in the United States is estimated to be between $2 trillion and $2.3 trillion over the next 10-year period, according to data from major economics and non-partisan think tanks. So the folk that are benefiting from this, it said the individuals were wealthy. It says they were corporations. Yeah. Federal tax subsidies. Oftentimes, they try to make the American people, when they speak about subsidies, they try to shame you. Oh, you get subsidized this, you get subsidized that, you get subsidized. And they shame these individuals as if that's a bad thing. But I'm looking here, and it says federal tax subsidies. A subsidy is a subsidy. But these breaks, cuts, are primarily benefiting wealthy individuals and corporations. So why are wealthy people and corporations getting subsidies, but people can't? They don't want to subsidize your rent, subsidize your food, subsidize your education, subsidize your health care. None of it. But these wealthy people, and the total, 2 trillion, 2.3 trillion over the next 10 years, didn't say billion, trillions of what they're receiving. The wealthy corporations. Y'all voted for it. And oftentimes they say, you just might get what you asked for. Let's see here. Let's go a little bit further. You know, if you recall, Gail, this orange man in the People's House deployed the National Guards in Washington, D.C. They were talking about the crime, and they needed the National Guards to go there and get this crime under control there in Washington. Y'all remember? So they deployed the National Guard, these troops there. They're still there. They don't talk about it, but they're still there. Well, let's talk about something that's so interesting. Listen, the total daily calls to deploy a single National Guard member in Washington, D.C. average is $607 per day. Listen now, follow me. Listen, when broken down specifically by compensation, troops' salaries, and traveling allowances account for approximately $375.7 million of the mission's budget of $605.1 million for this upcoming fiscal year. When averaged across the 2,500 troops stationed in the city there in Washington, this translates to an estimation of $150,000 per person for their combined pay and travel expenses. Yeah, that's what it does. You hear all that money? These people, because they're there to protect, so much crime. They're in Washington, D.C. So we're using our tax dollars to get them there to make everybody safe. Everybody safe. But is it everybody? Let's go a little further with that, Gail. It says here, data analysts of court and police records show that the National Guard's troops in Washington, D.C. have primarily patrolled and responded to incidents in wealthy or more affluent and whiter neighborhoods, while being largely absent from lower income urban areas, while with high rates of violent crime. Now, he said he was sending them to deal with violent crime. Where are the troops? They're not in the urban areas. No, they're not. They are in wealthy, more affluent, and whiter communities doing nothing. For $150,000 a year, they have nothing to do. I think they're giving them some games to play to keep them occupied because they have nothing to do, because they're not in the urban, largely lower income urban area where the highest crime rate is. They're not there. So now you're paying police officers and you're paying the National Guards. Police officers are getting paid to do their jobs. The National Guard is getting paid to do nothing because they're in affluent, whiter, rich communities. Amazing. Amazing. So I said, affluent and tourist areas. Affluent and tourist areas are where the National Guards are. Yeah. The troops have concentrated heavily around the National Mall, federal landmarks, transit hubs, subway stops, and wealthier commercial or residential neighborhoods. Wow. High crime areas. Investigative analysts of DC Superior Court records have found virtually no documentation of National Guard law enforcement active or present in the specific low-income neighborhoods where the vast majority of the city's homicide and violent crimes historically occur. They're not there, Gil. So while we're spending this money, they're in Washington, D.C. Waste. But they don't want the kids to eat. No health care. They don't care if you have somewhere to live, subsidizing housing. Education. It isn't important to educate our children. But you're spending taxpayers' money. And you put the National Guards in wealthy, affluent communities to do nothing. Did y'all know that? Well, I just told you. Now, this is the funny thing. I was watching television and the news came on. And when the news came on, the orange guy was bragging about he paid for, listen, the 2 massive flagpoles installed on the north and south lawn of the White House cost about $50,000 each, totaling approximately $100,000. The orange man stated that he personally paid for the installation out of his own pocket with no cost to the taxpayers. He's bragging about 2 flagpoles that he paid for at the cost of $100,000. The north and south side of the White House. Folk are starving, and he spent $100,000 on 2 flagpoles. He said, it's my own money. I didn't spend your money this time. Good morning, my sister, First Lady Iris. Pastor, you're absolutely right. It's prayer time. If you've ever prayed in your life, it's time to pray. Because only God can turn this thing around. But I want to remind you that faith without works is dead. So when you pray, God speaks to us. He gives us instructions and he tells us what to do. So you have to follow God's instruction because he works through people. I've shared with you guys the debt. Over $40 trillion, the highest debt in the history of this country. Over. But yet, the people don't benefit. Millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires, corporations benefit from this money. The orange man's family, billions of dollars during his term in office, they have made off of the working class people, have used the White House to line his pocket. Y'all voted for him. A 34 count convicted felon. Also was charged with, the allegations of rape. The young lady won her case, and he's still trying not to pay her. But one thing that the Supreme Court justices did is they won't take up the case again. Thank you for doing something right on behalf of the American people. In November, you have the opportunity to turn this thing around. I say to you one, I say to all, you need to get up out of the bed and make your way to your various polling places and take your opportunity to get your voice back. Vote blue. We, as a people, need the Congress working on and for us, our behalf. Not allowing this orange man to just spend our money recklessly when the purse belongs to Congress. But they have chosen, those Republicans, to allow him to handle the purse. So it's time to make some changes. Vote blue. Democrats, they control Congress, they control the purse, they control the orange man. Restraints. It's time for restraints. And we have the opportunity to do it. And so many of you are doing it right now because Democrats are sweeping across the country. Let's sweep the Congress. It's time to get the country back and to begin to take care of the citizens that live here that we call Americans. Trillions of dollars in debt, but folk are suffering. So out of that money, it doesn't help Medicaid and Medicare. It doesn't help housing, food assistance, rental assistance, mortgage relief, education, college. So are you better off now than you were under the Biden administration? Ask yourself a question. A lot of y'all had a job. Education. A lot of you had loan forgiveness. Health insurance. Food subsidies for your children. Subsidies to help you pay those enormous rents in Chicago. That has all been taken away. A lot of you shot yourselves in the foot. Well, healing time can come. In November, it's around the corner. I admonish you, get to the polls and do your due diligence, and let's take our country back. Yeah, I said it. Let's take our country back. Okay? Let's see here. I want to make a few announcements real quick if I can. I'm going to try to find them quickly. I'm so sorry. I should have had this out. I want to remind you, my buddy, Pastor Davey Moore, at his church, Greater New Mount Eagle Missionary Baptist Church, they're in their 51st church anniversary. It climaxes or culminates on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. They call it Events and Family Day. It's a pack of Hugh. Pastor Davey Moore will be the speaker, and he's asking those of you that don't have anything to do, if you can stop by and celebrate with them 51 years of this church being born, Greater New Mount Eagle Missionary Baptist Church. They're located at 12301 South Michigan Avenue in Chicago. When I leave my church, I'm going to go over there and celebrate with them. Also, First Lady Pastor Iris Reed spoke about prayer and how important it is. Well, Pastor Kimberly Ray, in the name of Jesus, is presenting their 44th International Intercessory Prayer Conference. It will start on September 3rd through the 6th. It will be held at the Westin Lombard Hotel, 70 Yorktown Center in Lombard, Illinois. You can still register for this powerful, impactful prayer conference. Please, ma'am and sir, do that. They are anointed. Trust me when I say anointed to pray. Prayer warriors. They are. Their mother was a prayer warrior, and she instilled prayer in their lives, and they are powerful prayer warriors. So why don't you sign up for that? As First Lady Pastor Iris Reed stated, it's time to pray. It is time to pray. I'm looking for something real quick here, and then I'm going to let you guys go. And that is, I'm looking for the deliverance cry real quick so I can, there we go. I need to let you guys know about that. Pastor Darlene Allen Nichols presents the Deliverance Cry Empowerment Conference. I was at it twice, and it is impactful. I love it. My God, it is just awesome. The dates for that is October 16th and 17th. You can register for that. It is held at the Tinley Park Convention Center, 18451 Convention Center Drive in Tinley Park, Illinois. You still have time to register. Men, you are invited also to this power-packed conference, the Deliverance Cry. I have all of those flyers on my page. So if you go to my page, you can get all of the information that you need. It is prayer time. It is prayer time. I intend to attend both conferences. I think Pastor Kimberly Ray, in the evenings, it's free. During the day, it's not. In the evenings, it's free. Same thing with the Deliverance Cry. In the evening services, that's open to everyone. The day activity is not. Okay? So I'm going to get off of here. I hope I shared some enlightening information with all of you in regards to where our country is and the leadership of this country that is failing the American people. So we have the opportunity to turn all of that around in November. And I can't say it enough. Everyone, get out of your bed and make it to your various polling places that you can help be a part of turning this around and taking back the power regarding our voice, that it can and will be heard. Because right now, we don't have a voice. There's a person, a tyrant, he thinks he's a king, all of those things that is sitting in the people's house right now, sitting in the people's house. Michelle, go back and look at the replay. Go back and look at the replay. That's my cousin Michelle. I'm so glad that you're on. Those of you that came on, thank you so much. Also, listen, I'm going to get off of here, but I need you guys to do a favor for me. I need you to go like and subscribe my YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube, like and subscribe, DJ, Real Talk in the Raw, or you can pull it up under H. Dean Johnson. I'm trying to build the viewership of the podcast there on YouTube. Both podcasts are played simultaneously. So right now we're Facebook Living, but also it is live on YouTube. I just want to build an audience there. So listen, guys, listen. Before you leave your homes today, you need to plead the blood of Jesus over your house, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your enemies, and your frenemies. God's protective blood, that he will go with you and keep you from all hurt, harm, and danger. Cover yourselves in the blood. Here in our country, Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland, all of that, we have experienced such devastation. Cover yourselves with the blood of Jesus, your property. The blood still works. It protects. Use it. Use it. Listen, don't forget these three mantras. My brother, the short guy, Minister Antonio Dickpen, often says to go and be great. My god brother, the one and only Jesse Campbell, the voice himself, tells us to love and light. I remind us every day that when you were created in the womb of your mother, God gave you a purpose and an assignment. Walk in your purpose and fulfill the God-given assignments, plural, that's attached to your life. Never forget that assignments are attached to people. Yes, all three mantras lead to kingdom building. At the end of the day, everything is about the kingdom of God. He tells us again to watch as well as pray. It's praying time, people. It's praying time. And so I admonish you to gain a life of prayer. Get to know Jesus, that you can have relationship, and then he will hear you when you speak to him. But you got to have relationship with God. How do we deal with carjackers? I'm going to tell you. Because carjackers, First Lady, Michelle, Gail, they're real. And what I advise you to do, keep your doors locked. Keep your windows up. And if them suckers walk up to your car and they trying to get in, what you gonna do? You gonna put your foot on the gas pedal, press it to the floor, and you gonna drag them suckers until they let go. Don't let them in. Drag them. Now, my brother, Troy Taylor Jr. told me, bro, you just can't leave them in the street. So he told me I had to advise you to call 911. And I'm going to add the end of that so that they can come and pick up the trash. I said, the criminals. Yeah. So listen, until Monday morning at 8 o'clock a.m., this is DJ Real Talk in the Raw. Have a fantastic day. Love all of you with my whole heart. I will see you guys on Monday.